So you can still take him, of course, on the map here, and adds a lot to the playstyle that we normally see from Zealots. So another big opportunity for them to once again get him back into the game. But as you said, Tyrael, Greymane, super important combos. How about the globals? Do we see a Dehaka setup again? First, Abathur is banned out. 4 diamond skin. Hate for the slug as usual.
Very similar to Trick Esport. Just ban the Abathur no matter what. Mouth banned once again here. And blue team will have the first pick. Do they contest the plans of Zealots? Do they move into a Greymane? Do they grab Hanzo? They elect to take Greymane here.
So Malfurion banned out. It's not only the Twilight Dream, but it's also the entire coordination around the root setups that gave the red team, which in this case is of course Zealots, quite a little bit of trouble. So let's see how they're going to play around that. For now, banning out Malfurion fits in their styles.
Also just difficult to kill. The Ice Block post 13, it's very hard to get on that Malfurion and get rid of him while the rest of his teammates are wailing on you. So Malfurion no longer here. Red team, will we move straight into it? Zealots, will they move the Hanzo back into the rotation? They've been going Greymane lately.
I feel at this point you pick Tyrael, and either Tyrael or Uther to deny one of the potential synergies with Greymane. And the style that we've seen from Zealots so far today, I would lean towards them picking Tyrael. I could see one where they pick both, where they take Uther and Tyrael here once again, but I probably none.
Wow.
Okay. I'm
Blaze
really surprised by this, considering what we've seen from them so far. Huh.
Definitely a bit of a shock there. Makes sense though. Blaze gives you the wave clear. Handles if a possible Dehaka comes your way. Great for controlling around the temple phase, both ETC and him. So around temples, they should be able to control, especially post second phase.
It's also not something that we have seen too much from Zealots yet. I mean, they played with ETC before, but they have not played Blaze on Sky Temple yet. So again, we haven't seen them with a Blaze composition, so maybe there's a different game plan that they have right now. But traditionally speaking, they have played Tyrael here before the rework already. We've seen them with these Uther combinations, with Hanzo, with Tassadar even, trying to go into these double supports. So it's really interesting to see an ETC and Blaze opening, considering how they play today, completely going away from the playstyle they showed before. And I was convinced that they would take Tyrael, and if not, then at least take Uther here. But they don't pick either. Whereas Diamond Skin now have the Uther and Greymane combos. They have the Divine Shield to allow Greymane to go a bit deeper, to be more aggressive, to jump that backline. And at the front, they're running Muradin now. So very interested to see what Zealots are going to take on the next rotation.
Diamond Skin having a bit more of a front line, it's a little bit more bust to handle the meaty line coming in from ETC and Blaze. Genji and Hanzo banned. Both Shimada brothers will not be played here. So we're not going to have that dive available. Tyrael is still up and available, making it down to this stage here. Don't expect to see it from Zealots, but we could have Diamond Skin move into it later on.
Yeah, for sure. Diamond Skin could definitely take it. And we see Law and Order more so than we have the focus on Holy Ground. But still, on this map, you can still go for it. You could have done it on Curse as well. So that's always the option for you. The shields are insanely strong in team fights, but if you really get the feeling, okay, we need to grab the boss and we need to force a fight around the boss, then you can also go into Holy Ground instead. So you have the options on the map. And it was one of the biggest arguments in favor of Tyrael in the past as well. So Zealots, I want to see what you got. At this point, they definitely changed their style up, and it's resulted in now Greymane taken away, Hanzo being banned out. So what's the game plan? What are they going for? Those are damage dealers that they relied heavily onto in the past.
Well, Crest shown Lunara and Gul'dan often in the past. They decided to go ahead and wait a little bit longer here, as we'll have double support coming out. Tassadar and Rhaegar will be your third and fourth pickup, meaning we'll have a hyper carry later on for Zealots. And they're going back to one of their tried and true combos, making sure to have that hyper carry available and let Tassadar sit in the back and empower him.
And then, of course, the question remains, who's going to be that hyper carry? You mentioned Lunara, which is an option. If they wanted to play that, they go up against Uther, so that would already help. Especially with that in mind, I would still expect Diamond Skin to head into Tyrael, unless if they want to rely on a double support combo themselves again, then they could deal with Lunara damage. Lunara is definitely a hero. I mean, right now, what is Diamond Skin doing? They are asking themselves the same question that we do. What's going to be the last slot pick for the Zealots? What could that mean? Could they pick Cassia, for example? How would we deal with that? Could they pick Lunara? Do we have a trouble running Uther alone against Lunara? If so, how do we react to it? Are the shields of Tyrael enough to mitigate some of that damage? Do we go into one of our double support compositions? And for now, they go into Leoric, so we can expect them to add another damage dealer, and that's exactly what they do. So they completely believe in the power of Uther. We could see Lunara now taken against Uther as a solo support, and we have not seen Tychus in this, Tyrael in this draft. Really interesting for me.
Makes its way through. So Tychus will help out on that front line, but also going into Odin. If Cassia were to get picked, at least there will be some options here for Diamond Skin, getting the area effect damage from afar, and also the range over Cassia can be helpful. So Zealot's thinking about that hyper carry. Which one do they want to go into? Cassia could be good against Greymane, helpful to a certain degree. Lunara gives you a little bit more time to work with, but also more damage.
Zealots has played Lunara 3 times.
Yep.
They lost 2 of these 3 games, but it's definitely a hero they play. For them, that means an 18% win. An 18% involvement rate in their drafts, or play rate. So,
what about Vala?
They hesitate a bit. I mean, yeah, Tracer. I hate to say it, but Vala just sucks right now.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite heroes, but right now she just doesn't feel good. At least not when you're looking at the competitive scene. Can still pull her off in the Chaos that's Hero League, but in a competitive scene, Vala is not looking strong at this point. So
I think it would have worked here though, because there isn't a major dive except for that Greymane, and with Rhaegar and Tassadar, you should be able to hold it, especially when you get that Siphoning Arrow at 13, and then the Manticore, which is what I was really wanting for that ability to burn down Muradin later on. But regardless, we're not going to see it. It's a Tracer coming out.
It's the first time that Zealots play Tracer. First time that they play her.
See if it works out for them.
I really thought they would head into Lunara here. With the Uther as he heals, I really thought Lunara would be the pick for them. Positioning, of course, becomes a bit of a problem. If Greymane jumps on her, would go for the throat as well. That might be one of the concerns that they have here. But given that they played her in the past, I mean, at this point, Tracer has to really deliver in this setup.
Yeah. And Tomb also very annoying for Lunara if you do catch her. It's hard to catch her, but if you do catch her, especially at level 20, it's quite difficult for her to get away. So we're getting ready for Sky Temple here.
I mean, you could always take Leaping Strike against Tomb. So usually you have a minion around or something you can dodge, you know. And of course, with the setup, Rhaegar has a tool there. But yeah, if you run the Tracer composition, can work out for you. But that also means that Tracer has to play out of her mind here.
Yep, especially with that go for the throat for Greymane at level 10 allows for the full dive on Tracer. That means the Tassadar shields and Rhaegar will have to be on point.
At this point, we have the 5th game coming up. And to the left, Diamond Skin with Rosbeck on Tychus, Wolfjaw on Uther, Robadoba on Muradin, Nanda on Leoric, and Darkmog on Greymane for Diamond Skin.
On the right side in the red, Zealots here. Mopsio playing ETC, Chris on Tracer, Shad on Rhaegar, ADRD on Tassadar, and Zarmony playing Blaze.
Also, while we're having now our 5th game, this also means at the same time that Fnatic is qualified for the Western Clash. So congratulations to Fnatic here already. It comes to pass because Zealots now, by losing 2 games, is in a situation that even if they tie with Fnatic at some point, because we were always talking, of course, about direct comparisons, and as you might remember, Zealots actually won against Fnatic. But thanks to the Zealots losing 2 maps today, the direct comparison would not even matter. So through the map score alone, Fnatic pulls ahead, and therefore Fnatic is currently qualified for the Western Clash. So congratulations to them already. Keep in mind that all of their games still matter for the second part of Phase 1, but already for them, of course, quite nice to know that they are secured for the offline event.
Yep, and we'll also have, apparently, Dignitas has qualified as well, just getting word that they are officially in as well. So Dignitas and Fnatic will be 2 of the 4 teams that will be competing in Katowice. But hang on really quick here, as Robadoba takes some damage here in the middle.
Yeah, it all came down to Zealots and how they would perform here, because theoretically, if Zealots just win out all of the remaining games, they could have tied and could have potentially forced some tiebreakers. But thanks to the Zealots now losing 2 maps, any kind of situation in which the map score could be in their favor is already eliminated. So Dignitas and Fnatic are, through the result that we have here, through this 2-2, already qualified for the Western Clash. So congratulations to both.
Quick Giants already for our teams, wanting to start those fights there on the bottom side. I think it's really important whenever you are facing against this hyper carry type of composition from Zealots that you do focus and prioritize those mercenary camps as much as possible. Make it a bit difficult.
At this point, I'm just really having the entire time an eye on Tracer, and I can just see Chris there listening to K-pop and just zipping around on the map. So that's one of the things that might give him the strength to take this home, because he is definitely the one who needs to make the plays. Try to get onto Greymane, take him down, maybe get the drop on Tychus, and of course, being guarded by Passadar, by the shields, having the extra leech thanks to the level 4, and also Rhaegar is going to help him do that, but he is the player that we have to watch out for. There's not a lot of hard CC, but there's still some available. If Uther leads with a stun and then a Stormbolt follow-up hits home, then there's definitely a lot of damage output from Greymane and Tychus to be expected, so Chris needs to be cautious here.
Yeah, at that point, that would be on Chris, who wants to make sure that he is zipping around, as you mentioned, as often as possible to make sure that stuns do not come their way. Uther will have a hard time reaching him if he positions correctly. So we'll watch Chris as he keeps up with those fights. The damage is what's more worrisome. The Greymane being able to get a cocktail into a dive, into a go for the throat is always something that a Tracer player has to keep an eye on. As Tracer, with Tassadar and Rhaegar, are grouping up as 3 and trying to break down this turret, but Nande is doing enough to keep him away.
Yeah, every single tower that you can get in the early game gives you a huge chunk of experience that oftentimes leads to that tiny advantage that will give you an earlier talent. And if that coincidence, of course, with an objective, then you are in a great spot to get ahead early on. For now, it's just starting to be a bit of a tie between the two of them. Trade-off top temple against middle temple. But Leoric still got a bit more experience at the bottom of the map now, starts to rotate too. And we still have an attempt to make a play for the top as the Zealots are starting to move. Blaze, on the other hand, is trying to keep track of Leoric in particular, so he's soaking the experience in the mid lane. But this push through the top is actually starting to become a bit scary for Zealots, as Diamond Skin is very much so threatening the first fort.
Yeah, this is a deadly push. Stormbolt actually hits on Chris there. Gonna have a shield, but the fort continues to get lower and lower. Getting it to about half health will be good here for Diamond Skin. They can pull back and get some shots on it. Rosmeg is taking some damage. He gets focused down, and Tychus taken away.
Well done by Mopsio. Great body blocks here, and also then just waiting long enough to first stun him with a power slide and then pushing him back with a face melt here. So good kill for sure, but that fort is basically a goner. I mean, it's still on the map, but that will fall if Greymane just moves in and gets one cocktail. One grenade of Tychus alone is already going to drop that quite easily. So that's experience that they can more or less pick up at any point. And that makes this a bit of a bad trade for Zealots, even though they are currently slightly ahead in experience.
Yeah, even Leo can go up there and take over that lane and eventually get it at some point. Speaking of Leo, he's here in the middle spooking around. Rosmeg staying here against ADRD. It's all about the Giants, though. That's the next rotation that you want to set up for. And already both teams are on it. Very crisp clean here. Grabbing those Giants. Zealous doing the same thing here on the right. Going to be able to match each other on the bottom.
Yeah, Diamond Skin. This is the third time, by the way, that they're playing Tychus. They played him twice so far, and they won a game with him and they lost one. So Tychus is starting to be played a little bit more in Europe. We've been talking always about how, especially when we are looking towards the global games, when we're looking towards Korea, for example, and also North America, Tychus sees a lot more play. But just to give you a bit of an idea, in Korea he's at 16 games played so far, looking really strong. So Europe finally picking up on that as well, putting him to good use here. But right now it's actually the blue team that gets heavily pressured. Nande is already dropping low and barely getting out of it. And well, just as I say it, Mopsio moves in and delivers the opportunity for a kill. And Zealots walk away with kill number 2 and also nearly level 10.
That was a display of how important it is to land your Drain Hopes if you're playing a Leoric. He missed it on Blaze, and Chris immediately went in, dropped the Pulse Bomb, and focused down the Leoric. Not being able to land that takes away any type of tankiness that you would have on that Leoric. So good heads-up play there by Zealots, finding the kill. Diamond Skin hoping to finally still get that fort, but Zarmi is able to rotate straight up the top lane to prevent that from occurring.
Yeah, now it's a really interesting situation that we have right now, because Blaze should actually start rotating down. Yep, that's what he does. Mopsio is already on his way to the top thanks to the stage dive, so he has the global that they can use. Both of the teams with level 10s, which allows Diamond Skin to contest at the bottom temple. But this is now one of those spots where as Diamond Skin you already start to feel the pressure, and this is for them a bit unfortunate. They were already ahead in the series with a 2-1. Then on the fourth map they just didn't quite get the draft that allowed them to take the game. Right now we're having the brawl already starting down here. Bunker being used, ETC jumps in with the stage dive, doesn't hit anybody, but can of course now join the fight and get the earlier wave clear to the top.
And the Pulse Bomb's been used. So Darkbot jumps straight on top of Chris. trying to work on that pulse bomb once again. But the front line is taking the beating here as Zealots are cutting backwards from Rosmek, who's popped Odin.
Mopsio apparently did have the cooldown still on the fountain. At least he waits out for Rhaegar to drop the Ancestral, so that was definitely communicated between the two of them. But no, Mopsio taps the fountain here. I'm not quite sure if that Ancestral was really needed if he had all the time the opportunity to go for it.
Well, the good news is he has a regen here, so he can force the power slide into a fight if he would like to. There it is. Jumps right on in. Gonna have the Divine Shield on top of Darkmok, but there goes the bunker. Nande will be the first to fall.
Yeah, Leoric is down, and in this case, the Guardian actually helped them as well. Now Darkmok is in trouble, and the jet propulsion hits home hard. Mopsio comes in again, cuts him off completely, and as Greymane tries to escape, we have the kill delivered by Blaze. Second kill against Diamond Skin in this fight, and Chris once more. He's looking for Oskmek, doesn't find him, but he goes for Uta instead. And Robadova jumping forward, dropping Avatar, nearly getting the counter kill against Mopsio. The shield comes in, Leoric is back to business, but they keep him alive, and Mopsio just no fear whatsoever. No respect and no shame. He darts in again and wants to kill Leoric once more. That doesn't quite work out for them, but they get Tychus.
Incredible teamwork there from Zealots, just barely staying alive on a few fronts there in the fight. And with them finally grabbing this temple, they'll move in and claim their first fort of the game. But remember, Diamond Skin still has their own fort to grab in the top right. In fact, they still haven't even moved up for it. I'm actually wondering when Nunez is going to be able to move in and finally grab it here. He needs to do it quick before Blaze is able to rotate up.
Yeah, I expected at some point to see if maybe Tychus can make his way over, drop a quick grenade in there, and then take it down with 1-2 auto attacks. But the problem, even with a fort once it's taken, is still that the experience lead for the Zealots is quite significant.
True.
Level ahead, and on top of that, of course, the 13 talent advantage is pretty brutal. Also, the nullification on Tassadar is now a big problem for Greymane in particular. Once that he starts to go deep, nullification should come out, and that will keep Tracer alive for even longer. And up to this point, at least, Chris could do whatever he wants. He had a lot of room to work with, and he used it to put the pressure onto the backline to get kills. So he did very well on Tracer.
Diamond Skin still in this though, just need to get their 13, which is slowly creeping their way towards them. Diamond Skin also getting a bit aggressive on the Merc camp, but Zealots, they sniff this out. They see Robodoba anchoring around, deciding to go ahead and group up as 4 and push in for this tower. If they need to, ETC can come in and help them out, so they don't mind being this aggressive. Well, a bit of a brawl up here, as Diamond Skin matches them with their own Night Camp.
Yeah, Diamond Skin is currently just desperately trying to defend this. ETC still has that global ability, so he can join the fight whenever he wants to. But Zealots are really increasing the pressure here. They're getting pushed back for now, so that works for them. Diamond Skin had a really nice setup here with their own camp counter pushing, the fort helping out. And at least for now, we also have the blue team with enough experience to get their own 13 talent. They're already going straight for the fort here to the top. But still, ETC at the bottom, pushing the wave out, getting more vision, and always able to grab that bottom temple for them. Going full for face melt build here, by the way.
Trying to force Leo to come out of hiding. Leo is hiding in the middle. Wanted to force a fight, but with that push coming in, Leo needs to get that experience. And here we go. Temple's activating in 2 seconds. That fort is still alive, by the way.
That thing just doesn't fall.
I can't believe.
To be honest, in this case, it doesn't really matter since they're not falling behind in talents, so they can take it later. But yeah, quest talent completed for Zealots, 15. And yeah, more and more shots fired through the bottom temple, and that eliminated not only a fort, but it's also starting to threaten the top, the one at the top. So from a structural point of view, Diamond Skin is quite a bit behind. They're now finally getting the first hit in the mid lane, and the top lane is also falling, so they also got 2. That gives them a bit closer experience, but it's just nowhere near enough to close the gap to the Zealots, who are now looking at 16 already.
Yeah, and Zealots could fight soon too. They're about to hit that 16 as you were just mentioning, and ETC's ready to come in. Rosbag's already down below half health here. Wolfjo gives them a slight heal, keep him up there. They are able to grab the rest of the shots, so good there for Diamond Skin. They need to back up though and play safe for a little bit here. They need a full level of experience to match their opponents. And Zealots, they have the map pushing out. Middle's pushing in. ETC already got bottom nice and prepped here.
No, I thought that Mopsio was itching to jump in here, especially as we saw Diamond Skin starting to retreat. It was pretty easy to just cut off that retreat path and attempt to jump in there. So he didn't do that, but they still hold it now, and that allows him to rotate to the top where Leoric is pushing. Robodoba gets away for now, barely. Half hit points in this case as the rest rotates in, but ETC and Leoric locked into a fight up to the top. But without a temple on the map now, Diamond Skin has the chance to equalize at least the talents.
16 is where they would equalize. Zealots taking away these giants. Diamond Skin should give this up. Shouldn't really fight over it. Don't really need to. They have to wait for Leo. All their team fights are just hampered on where Leo is at. If Leo gets into the aggression and gets the flank that they want, then Diamond Skin can go forward. But until then, Zealots just reign supreme in terms of where they want to move.
Chris, okay, Chris careful enough here, but now ADRD is in trouble. He already used his E. He's in a world of trouble here. Has to drop Avatar. There comes the stage dive. They're trying to force the fight. Diamond Skin already has to use the Divine Shield on Uther, but he's cut off anyways. Wolfjo healing himself, trying to stay alive as much as he can, but Chris is already on the task. Takes him down. Odin popped in the back, forcing the fight now without Uther. Bunker is being used for the extra armor, and this is bad news for Diamond Skin now. They have the 16 talent, but can they get the counter kill? It doesn't look likely. Rosmek moving away, and so does the rest of the team. They're trying to escape here as Chris is attempting to close the gap.
Chris goes in, the pulse bomb will hit on Darkmog. Nande taking some damage here, turns around with the Martial Black King though, able to survive, gets a million and a little bit of damage as well. Rosmeg is doing decently against Zarmany, but eventually Nande just falls. The lack of support a little bit too much there. Diamond Skin unable to win the fight, but at least they have Leork here to scout out and make sure their opponents are moving in for a boss. Yeah,
once more the pressure on ADRD, but he's able to get away and drops a few storms here now too. I'm actually amazed that they are still trying to force this here. I already was surprised that Diamond Skin dropped Odin after Uther died. I expected them to move back when they realized their support would make it here. But they engaged into the battle and were hoping for the counter kill. Now they're of course having the issue that we still don't have, well, we just have Leoric back into this, and the aggression immediately continues. So the fight is up once again, level lead still for the Zealots, but there's the attempt for Mopsio, goes in, gets the Ancestral, Bunker on the ground, helps him to move away, gets the extra armor, nice power slide against Wolfjo and Robadoba. Wolfjo again down, gets the Divine Shield out to keep Greymane alive. But that's already the first loss. ETC jumping in again, looking for more kills, and they find them. They take down Leoric, they take down Muradin, and that's a 5 versus 2 now that they can capitalize on by taking the boss and taking the temple.
The temple's already has been started. A few shots in that bottom keep, getting it lower and lower. This boss will be deadly for that keep if this entire temple does not shred it fully. It looks like it won't there with the wall being in the way and absorbing some of those shots. But Zealots have set themselves up pretty well here to eventually take a keep or at least force an Odin out, making it hard for Tychus to fight later on. Here's the engage. Stormbolt goes in, but the Ancestral healing from Shad. Here's a mine that's early. He doesn't need full value out of it. He just needs to make sure that ETC does not get picked off. They all jump into a bunker. Mopsio gets the power slides. The huge knockbox as well is just enough as Uther finally falls.
The bunker is such an amazing tool here for them. ETC was in so much trouble, and then not only did the bunker save ETC, it cut everyone else off from the backline. Once ETC enters the bunker, Diamond Skin has nothing. They're just sitting there saying like, everybody's gone. And we are still taking damage because of Tassadar. Now we're seeing Uther fall here. And to be honest, that could be game. That should be game. 20 any moment, and without the support, without Divine Shield, how do you stop this?
Well, they have Odin. That's one way to start doing it. Darkmog gets picked off in the top right. ADRD and Zarmany will continue to take him away. Robodoba trying to buy some time on the back line, but Chris is just dancing around him. At the same time, the boss has finally made its way to the core, and they are shredding through the shields. Continues to fall here, percent by percent, and Zealots, and a close series going to game number 5, are able to snag a win with a couple of big pickups and a Tracer. They win 3-2.
Well